Hi, my name is Terry Lee from Sweet Pea Papers, and this is November 2021, so I thought we would do a quick little Christmas project. And we're going to do a flip book, which I had done one and showed you how to do it with a manila folder with in my live class. And this time, though, we're going to make a ring-bound journal. Now, I, of course, forgot my rings. Let's see if I can grab them from here. I think I can. So we're going to use these rings, not all of them obviously, but we're just going to use 2 rings, and we're going to put the rings at the top. And so we're going to have to be a little bit careful about, pockets and things like that. So what you're going to need is you're going to need 2 rings. I've got some lace. I'm not sure which one I'm going to use. I may use both. I may use neither. I'm not sure. I've got some ribbon that we're going to tie it shut with, but it's on its way from Amazon right now, so I can't show it to you until we're ready to use it. Now, this time, in the other video, we closed it on both sides. This time, we are going to either close it at the bottom, which I don't think is what we're going to do, or we're just going to close it with the ribbon from the back all the way around to the front and just tie it. We're not going to put the ribbons on either side, 4 pieces, and tie them shut that way. Okay, so these are our pages, and since it's going to flip up, every other page is going to be upside down because it's going to be right side up when you flip it up. Okay, now I've got 5 pages front and back. I was going to do the 12 Days of Christmas, but that would have made this 7 pages long or 8 pages long. You know what I mean? Because you got the front and the back, and you got the cover, and it gives you an extra page, and then so you have to make 2 more pages. You see where I'm going. Okay, so I had the numbers all cut out, and I was ready to go. So we may still use the one for Christmas Day and Christmas Eve. I don't know. Probably not. So anyway, we got the pages. We've got our cream colored paper that we're going to use to make the paper or the pages. These papers are to cover it. And I also have my template on white paper that this is what I use to figure out the size, and actually a couple of pieces of typing paper too. But anyway, so now that I have this template, I know where I'm going to put the holes, and I don't have to stress. Oh, we're also going to need one of those. All right, so these are the cream colored papers that we're going to make our pages with. These papers here are just extras that I printed out, like background papers. So, oops. So in case we needed to make something that wasn't pre-cut ephemera. Okay, here's a few pages left over that we might use. I don't know, maybe we'll get to the end and I'll decide to add extra pages on. It just depends on how long the video takes. We're going to try to keep it down to a bare minimum. And here's a pile of ephemera that I've already inked. And when I inked them, I used Vintage Photo, but I used the Distress Oxide and not the Distress ink. Okay, so you're going to need a little brush too. We've got to do some stenciling. You're going to need some magnets, and you're going to need some glossy accents or something, or nothing. But I plan on doing the little red cherries and maybe a couple other things with the glossy accents. Okay, the kit is called Yummy Vintage Christmas, and it's by my Porch Prints. And let's see if there's anything else. Oh, you're going to need a crocodile to punch your holes, or some other type of hole punch that will go through 2 pieces of paper. And I think that's it. Your standard ruler, scissors, pencil, that kind of stuff. All right, so let's go ahead and get started. The first thing we're going to do, I've inked all the pages. So we're going to set these to the side. So the first thing we're going to do is we are going to make some pages. We don't need the template. Okay, so you're going to cut a page 10 inches long by 5.5 wide. Okay, because these papers come, wait a minute, let's see what I got here. Yeah, these papers come together or printed half and half. Let me show you what I'm talking about. Okay, you can see there's a border around, and they come like this, and so you have to kind of figure out where you're going to cut them in half. So the average is 5.25, so that's why we're going 5.5, so that we have an 1/8 all the way around. Okay, let's see what I got here. I got extra stuff here. You know me, I don't like having extra stuff. So what we're going to do is we're going to get out our scoreboard, and we're going to score each one at 1 inch. So since I've already made one, then we should only have 4 more. So you're going to score them at 9. Okay, Valley makes a peak, so you fold it this way. In other words, the part where you score it that goes down in the thing goes on the inside. Okay, so we're going to do that, and let's just do them all. I'm going to score it at 1 inch. Oh, and then we're going to fold it. I'm not sure why does that one look bigger. Because I scored it somewhere other than 1 inch. Yep, I scored it at 1.25. So we're going to have to cut another paper. Spare paper. So we'll do that in just a second. I don't know what I was looking at. I scored at 9. I scored it at 8 3/4 for some reason. Looks like we're going to have to redo this one as well, because I went crooked, and now you can see it. Well, I guess we have some scrap paper, don't we? And let's see if I can do this last one. Do it a little bit slower. And then I'll show you how to do it on these 2 pages. So that just goes to show you how easy it is on your scoreboard to go a little bit wrong. So you have to be a little careful and not do it quite as fast as I was doing it, and also talking at the same time. So just so you know, we're going to cut it 5.5 wide. And 10 inches long. And then I have to do one more. Now, some of the envelopes we'll have to ink once we score them and fold them. So there's one. I just figured I might as well do it real quick. 5 1/4. Oops, 5 1/2. By 10. And then I'm not going to make every single page on camera because there's no reason. Once you see, say 2, then you'll know what to do. Okay, so now we're going to take the ones we folded. There's the sample one, or there's our page 1. So we're going to take this, we're going to glue it shut. You need to glue it pretty good. And fold it over. Use my new Teflon bone folder. Fold it over till the glue sticks. Glue stick, never mind. Bad joke number 1. And on the second one, we'll glue that one. Believe it or not, on Fabri-Tac, you can tell when it hasn't stuck yet because it feels cold through the paper. I have no idea why. Could be because my room is cold. I don't know. Okay. So now we're going to make the holes. Get out our pencil. Now, when you're using the first one that you made, and you made it from your template, the way you make it, let me show you, is I measured where the center was, and then I measured about 1.5. I measured 1.5 in from either side. Now it depends on how big you're making yours as to how far in you want to go. You may want to go 2 inches if it's wider. If you have different paper, like if you're using a 12 by 12 or something like that, you can cut it down to whatever size you want. So what you're going to do, and that's how I made this. Okay, so I'm going to set that to the side because it's not glued. And I'm going to take this, line it up with this, and I'm not going to make a dot. I'm going to go ahead and draw the circle. And the reason is it's easier to line up and you will get them all marked in the right spot. And then we'll take the crocodile and we'll punch the holes out, and I'll tell you a little secret about it that most people, I don't see them use, but they probably know, but I just don't see them use it in most of their videos. Okay, so we've got these marked. And you want to make sure you're punching the holes through the part that you folded over. That's the reason you folded it, was to make it sturdier. Okay. And so you're going to get out your crocodile or your hole punch, whatever you're using. And you're going to put it on 3/8. You're going to put it on the bigger hole. On here, there's a guide. And it slides. and this stops the paper. So however far in you want the hole to be, move this until it's at the edge of the paper, however far you want to put it in. Okay, and in this particular case, we're going to put the stop. It's a stop all the way to the end. Okay, then we're going to line it up. When you push down on the handle, you can see there's a punch that comes out. So we're going to line the punch up with the hole, obviously. I went a little bit too far. I thought it was all the way to the end, but it wasn't. And now we have our holes. Now, you can put eyelets on these, which we are going to do. And we're going to use, let me see, forgot to get them out ahead of time. We're going to use one of the browns that I have, and let's take a look. Oh, on this kit, it's almost like there's two themes. One of them has gingerbread on every page. And so I picked the gingerbread theme. Now the other set of papers in the kit have more of just a vintagey look to them. There's no cute little cinnamon things, and even the colored ones, you see they all match. They have the pine needles on them. Okay, so I decided not to use these. So that's why they're cut out, and then I realized. Okay, so we're going to use the eyelets, and I think we're going to use these. Okay. I'm going to have to get some more. Okay. We're not going to do all those right now. All right, now you're going to slide this all the way forward, and that's brings this down, and that's the thing, that the piece that smushes this on here. Now you want to put the front side, the pretty side, on the front side, the pretty side of your paper. So you're going to put that through there. You're going to line this up on here. And then you're going to punch it. Okay. Now, I don't always do these right. So sometimes they're crooked or sometimes they don't. Fold out right. So that's how you do that. Okay. Let me do one more. So you put it in the hole with the pretty side up. Then you line it up with the punch. Then you punch it down. Put it in the hole. Line it up. Okay. So now we've got two that we can work on, and one that's glued but doesn't have any eyelets on it. So now we're going to want to put the cover on. And when we put the cover on, we want to move it down a little bit so that there's space at the top, so the border will look a little bit bigger, or it will be a little bit bigger, but we're going to line it up with the bottom. I probably shouldn't have put these on until last in case I had a problem with the paper. Shouldn't have said that. Anyway, we're going to put this one on right side up. And when we do, we're going to line it up with the bottom. That's the easiest way to get it on there where you want. So you line it up on the bottom with a little bit of a space or a little bit of a border, like so. And then you're going to glue it on, and you see that gives you the same border at the top. Okay? So since we're not doing a ribbon that we have to put on before we put the cover on, we're going to go ahead and glue the cover on this paper. Now, the cover's going to go on the side that does not have the fold. Move some of this out of the way. Okay. And this is the back cover, not the front. This is the front cover. I forgot I had flipped them over when I showed them to you. Okay, so this is the top. For the next video, I will refill my glue. And I'll show you the 2 pages, and then that's all we'll do for this, and then you'll go ahead and glue all your pages. Maybe I'll just put you on hold and glue my pages, except for the back. Okay, so we want to glue it right side up to the eyelets with our border. This looks like it's a little crooked as far as the way I cut it. Okay. All right. Now we're going to turn it over, and the top is going to be where the eyelets are. No, because we're flipping it. The top is going to be at the bottom. Because of the brown part in the center, they weren't exactly, I couldn't just say, okay, 5 1/4 and cut them, because sometimes it would cut into the picture. They're not exactly even. I'm not really sure how. They just didn't look right when I did them. They may be in the middle. But the problem is when you print the paper, there's a border from your printer, and then that makes it not 11. So 5.5 is not going to be your exact amount, and it just depends on your printer as to what it is. Okay, we're going to put this on with just a little bit of a border. We're going to put it on upside down to the first page. So we're going to put the bottom at the grommets, the eyelets. Okay, we're going to continue doing it that way. We're going to go front side up to the eyelets, then we're going to flip it, and then we're going to do the bottom at the eyelets. Okay? All right, I'm going to put you on hold and do the rest of these, and then we will come back. Okay, now don't do the last one. Don't do the back. Just do all of them but the back. Okay? All right. Okay, we're back. Now, I've gotten all of these put on, and that's when I realized that this was going to have to be a flat mailer, which is perfectly fine. And I'll tell you why. Because if we had wanted to do any flips or flaps or whatever, we should have done them before we glued the pages on. So that was my mistake. So this is going to end up being a tutorial on how to make a quick little flat mailer. This is only 5.5 wide, so it should fit in one of those not tan, but because I'm not sure it would be long enough, but one of those kind of a gold colored office supply 9x12 envelopes that you could mail it to someone as a Christmas card. So what we're going to do is that's the same with these little tabs. We can put them on now, which you'd have to see the decoration. However, if you do that, then it's going to make it possibly too wide. Okay, so we're not going to put any on this one, but to put them on, all you would have to do is just glue it on here. I used my brother's Scan and Cut to cut them out. So these were the ones. This is the one on the end, so I cut this part out, but not this part, because these are attached together. So the Scan and Cut doesn't recognize this white area as something that needs to be cut out. But that's okay. So don't cut them out until you fold them in half. And then when you fold them in half, cut this little area out. Okay? And then you're going to fold it in half. Match up the sides. And then you're going to cut this little part out, and then it will match. Okay? So we just take I have absolutely I was going to say, I don't know why my scissors would have left my table. So you're just going to cut this out, and now you're cutting it out on both sides, so it's going to match on both sides. Okay, now I folded that a little crooked, but you won't really, unevenly, but you won't notice because half will be on one side, half will be on the other. So then you just take this and I would put it, because of the picture on the bottom, I know it's upside down, remember you're flipping them up, I would put it at the bottom. You're going to glue it all the way to here. I would put it at the bottom because when you flip the picture up, then you don't want it to interfere with the poinsettia down there. Okay? Now, on this one, it looks like when I folded it in half, even though they matched, this part is still got some white. So there we go. It's because I folded it crooked and you can see a little of the red and white stripe. But anyway, I would glue it to the top, which is the bottom of this one. And then if you wanted, you could use your hole punch and make a hole right here and hang a charm from it. Okay, but I'm just going to make a flat mailer card out of it. So I'm not going to glue any tabs on, even though they're awesome in something like this. Okay. Now, the same thing goes, well, let me show you this first. There are this big envelope and these large side pockets. However, I don't see any of the red and white stripe in the book at all. We might still use it though, because it matches the candy canes. But this one, you'll see, has the evergreen bow on it. This one does too. We might use that. And these pockets, or this pocket doesn't match what we're doing here. And this big envelope matches the other half of the kit. So we're not going to use that. However, you could fold it up and use a Velcro dot and stick it in there. It's also going to add to your thickness. Okay? So I've got these two where'd it go? Oh, these two pieces of paper, and we can make belly bands out of these and stick some of the cards in. I think what I'm going to do instead is use the pocket and use it to put these two little envelopes in. Now the reason that I'm going to go ahead and include this one is because it matches the little Christmas tree that I now wish I hadn't put in there, because it doesn't really match the rest of the pages. But I digress. So my ribbon got here. On a side note, my ribbon got here, and I want to show you. I got, how much is this? Very, very 20 rolls and 25 yards in length for each roll. So that's 20 times 20 is 400. So it's probably 450 yards, 450 yards. So I got this on Amazon for $9. So the only disadvantage is they're not individually rolled. They're on a styrofoam. However, all you have to do is take each one off and put it on a roller, or you could use it like you do curling ribbon, which is that thinner ribbon like that you use on balloons, and you take your pair of scissors and you run it down it, and then it makes a curly cue. That's curling ribbon. Okay, so now, so it finally got here, and I want the red one. Oh, they are individually rolled. I saw the styrofoam and I thought they weren't. Okay, so I want the red one, which is all the way down here. I'm surprised there's only one shade of red, but it so happens that it's a shade of red that we can use. Now, these are 5/8. They're 10 millimeters wide. I would have liked to have had one size smaller or thinner, but this is what I got. Okay, so I'm going to take these and set them to the side. Put them back in here without the plastic. And it was really kind of funny, the plastic, that this was tied shut with a ribbon as well. So let's move all that out of the way. And we've got our last page. So we're going to want to remember it's going to look upside down. You glue it on upside down so that it's right side up. You glue it on upside down to what you think it should be glued. Now this one has a writing page every other page and a decorative page every other page. So we're going to want to make a little mark. Well, I'm just gonna guesstimate half. And then one way you could do it would be to run it all the way across and then just run it around and tie it in the front. Now when you mail this in the mail, you're going to have to untie the bow, or you'll have to pay extra for the depth. But I think it's not going to matter, because when you put it in one of those big envelopes, if it's got that little bump from tying the ribbon, then I don't think it's going to make any difference mailing it in the mail. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to undo this, and I'm going to stick the piece of tape right across the styrofoam, and I'm going to undo enough ribbon. I think maybe I will do it that way. We're only going to use an extra, well, let's calculate how much we need. Let's flip it over. We want to be able to tie a ribbon. Tie a bow. So, we're going to want this much at least. That's a little bit long. Okay, and then we want to be able to tie a bow. Maybe we did need that little bit of extra. Okay, and then let's just make it even. Which is going to be right about there. And then we'll cut it at an angle. Now we can put this ribbon back. And then I'm just going to take the piece of tape off the styrofoam and put it back across the end like that. I don't know how many times I'll be able to do that without using a new piece of tape, but that's okay, because my handy dandy tape dispenser is right there for when we do magnets. Now, since we're not doing any flips and flaps, we're not going to need any magnets to hold them closed. So what we're going to do is we're going to figure out where we want the bow on the front. And then we'll flip it over to the back. Then we'll make a mark. So we know where we want the ribbon to be, the top of the ribbon. Then we'll just run a bead of glue. I use Fabri-Tac. Of course, I use that for everything pretty much. And we'll run it across. You don't have to worry about the glue showing, because it's going to be under the paper. So then you want to fold the ribbon in half. Okay, so that you know where the center of the ribbon is. You're going to put the center of the ribbon in the center of the paper, and then just glue it down. Okay, that's all you have to do. Now we can put our paper on. Let's make sure it's right side up to the front. Okay, right side up to the front. This is going to be our top. So then we're just going to glue this. Okay, somebody will have a nice Christmas card. I would mail this early since there's writing pages, and then they can use it to keep track of what they did on Christmas. They can use it to write down their lists of what they need to buy for people. They could do whatever they wanted, but I would mail it so that they get it by December 1st. So that they can start doing their whatever they want to do with it. Put a note in there to that effect. Okay, so now just make sure your ribbon's out of the way. Glue this down. Just like that. And now your ribbon has been attached. And put this on the back, and then when you flip it over, then you can tie it shut on the front. Okay, now the reason I'm keeping these pages in order is because there's no way to really number them once you put the paper on. Alright, so what I'd like to do is put some lace on them. However, I'm not really sure where. You make sure that you don't cover the holes. Put some lace across the top of each one. But see, this size of this lace looks like it's going to be too big. The disadvantage to this lace is that it has a hole in the center, or there's holes in the center, so it makes it difficult to glue down. So you're going to want to glue it to where the glue goes underneath this part right here. So just keep that in mind. And now this lace is small enough that we could glue it on. So what I would say is maybe do, I wonder if we could do all the way around on the cover, what that would look like. Now remember, now this is going to be a gift, so I'm going to go back with the glossy accents, and I'm going to do every one of these little berries all the way through. I'm not sure if there's a berry on every page, but there's a berry on almost every page. There's not one on the tree, but there's some here, there's some here. Anyway, I'm going to go back all the way through. If I was a crazy person, I would go back and do the white as well. It's just as easy to take a glitter pen, a brown one, and go around the outsides, which I think would be nice, and I might go back and do that. So this is just mainly a quick tutorial on how to make one of these, and I'm going to put you on pause for just 1 second, and then we'll be good to go. Okay, so I'm thinking about putting lace all the way around on the cover. So I'm going to have to decide. I think I will put it up and down and then cover that with the lace across the bottom. So let's put let's put our glue just on the inside of this line so that we can glue the edge of the lace, not down the center. I don't have any other coffee dyed lace right now, or I probably would use a different one. Now we know for sure this one's the cover, so we can set it aside like this and work on it without any worries about putting them in the wrong place. So let's do, we might even just do glue up the sides. I mean, lace up the sides. That would probably be enough without putting it across the top and the bottom. I forgot to cut the piece. That's all right. Okay. This is going to end up being right in the middle. I'm going to move it over just a smidge. I put the lace even with the top of the card or the paper. And we want to get our lace straight. I'd like to have the holes on the card. Well, that's not really going to work, is it? Yes, it will. Okay. Oh, I didn't even realize my dryer was running. Go. Put a little drop of glue right here. Make sure that's glued down. Okay. Now the glossy accents on each one of these is going to have to dry for quite a bit. So you have to, I'm going to have to lay them all out on my kitchen table and let each one dry. See if I can remember to cut this ahead of time this time. Now this lace stretches. Okay, so I'm going to cut it right at the top of that hole. Then I'm going to run my glue right along this line, just like I did on the other side. Okay, and then we're going to lay the glue on, or the lace on here. Pull it up just a little bit. Move that over just a little bit. It was a lot easier to get this one on straight, huh? Slide it down just a little bit. Okay. I don't know. Now that I look at it, look at this. That does look a lot better, doesn't it? Yes. So I'll go back and glue the lace on the top and the bottom as well. All right. So now let's put this back on here. And then I'm going to do the glossy accents on the red. I might do it on the stripes on the candy cane as well. All right. So then all we're going to do is we're going to flip it and then decorate it however we want. Now, it does come with these pockets. Obviously, for some reason, my Scan and Cut went insane. The lines were too light for it to see, so I went around it with Sharpie marker because you won't see this part, and it doesn't matter. But look, then it cut outside the line. I have no idea why. Does not matter, because since this is flat and we don't want the items to fall out of the pocket, we're actually going to cut them off so that the pocket is flat. I don't trust myself to cut that far in a straight line. Okay. And this matches this right here. So I'm not going to really decorate this too much. I think, let's put it farther back in here. Well, oh, I know what we'll do. All right, so let's put it back here. And I'm not going to show decorating every single page. You're going to decorate yours differently. But I thought I would show you this pocket and cutting it off so that it laid flat. And obviously there won't be a flip through video on this because it's just nice and simple. Now I'm going to center this pocket between the two side lines, excuse my voice, and then line it up even with the bottom all the way across. Okay. Then I'm going to take one of these, probably this one, and fold it up. Let's put these back on here. Of course, we know that's the back one because it has the ribbon on it. And if you can fold them where, oh, did you see what I did? I forgot to ink the edges that I cut off on the pocket. And I said to myself, don't forget once you cut that off to ink it. That's all right though, because it's on the edges that are brown. Okay, so we're going to want to score where we fold this. Fortunately, we have big red stripes right here. It just makes for a cleaner fold. You just line up the top and the bottom where you want to score it. You want to do it right at the intersections. Okay. Now this one is like a little coin envelope. So there's not a pointed end on one end. And that's why the flaps are a little different, and that's why they're inked all the way around. Instead of just where they're going to flap over and, you know, where you'll see them. All right. And you would do that on all the envelopes that needed to be folded. This time I'm going to remember. Okay, so you're going to flip this over, and I stenciled this. I did it on the big one too because I thought I might use it to where the flap that opens is going to be, so it's not just white. And I used the vintage photo for that. So now you're going to fold it back. I should have scored it on the other side, but I had those bright stripes to go by. And you're going to fold that one over and score it so it lays flat. And then you're going to flip this one up on the outside and score it. Okay, now where these overlap, you're going to glue it shut. So it's going to be right down this cream area or stripe. And the little flap goes on the top on these. So we're just going to glue it. Okay. Then we're just going to fold the top over, and obviously we're not going to glue it. Okay. Then we'll take something small. I don't have any of the little cards printed out, but we'll take something small. And, oh, that's cute. I would maybe go ahead and print out another one of these smaller ones, not necessarily the exact same one, and stick 2 in here. But you can see that it's tight enough that it doesn't fall out. I know what we can do. This is catching on that little edge right there, so we'll put it in first. And then we'll put our gingerbread man in there. So that's just an example. Now remember, when you put your rings on, to make this one the right way up. And I'll put some lace down either side on the back, or all the way around on the back. Alright, so now we're just going to take our rings. Now I wish they made different colors of these, and if they do, let me know in the comments, because I sure would like to have a different color than silver. So all we're going to do is run the ring through. You might want to take the rings off to ship it and put ribbons in and include the rings, so that they can put the rings on. Because see, it doesn't really lay super flat with them on. these. If you've never used them before, you pull them apart like this, and then you open it. And then to close it, you actually just slide them together. I think I kind of bent that one a little bit. And then you just put it through the holes. And then you just close it up. Yeah, I bent this one. There we go. Okay. And then you could put something on these if you want, but remember, you're going to have to open it, flipping it up. So once you've decorated it, then your flat mailer will go like this, and it will open just like that. Okay? And then you could put a Christmas note in with it. This is for you to use to keep track of your Christmas stuff. Christmas stuff. You know, your stuff. You can just keep track of your stuff. Now, I am not very good at tying bows, so this will probably be the ugliest bow ever tied. Well, it ended up not too bad. So that's what it would look like when they open the mailer and they get it, except for there would be lace all the way around. Okay, so that's it for this quick little thing. And it only took us an hour before decorating. And so I would say in an hour and a half, maybe 2 hours, depending on how much you're going to actually do to it, you could have a nice little gift for someone that you could send in the mail, and then send them, if you're going to, you know, a different gift later on. If you're in a swap and you need to have something flat to mail, that would be a good idea. This isn't very thick at all. Now this is different. I did a flip book with the manila folders right before this, and this is much thinner than a bunch of manila folders folded in half. This is just the thickness of a piece of paper. Okay? All right. Well, that's it for this little quick project, and I will see you in the next project, and that will be just a second for you and a day for me. Okay. Merry Christmas. Bye-bye.